Hello! Croatian citizenship is more than just a new passport. It's an opportunity to live, work, study, and move freely throughout the European Union. But there's an important point that applicants often overlook. Success doesn't start with submitting an application, but with a properly prepared application package. It is during the document preparation stage that the most mistakes are made. In this video, we'll break down the main mistakes made when preparing a dossier for Croatian citizenship. We'll explain what to look out for in advance, why you shouldn't just collect documents roughly according to the list, and how to avoid situations where the Croatian consulate or Ministry of the Interior requests additional supporting documents. Why is a dossier so important? Croatian citizenship may be obtained on various grounds: by ancestry, through naturalization, through marriage, by Croatian ethnicity, and in certain other cases. But in every scenario, the key question remains the same. Can you provide documentary proof of your eligibility? Croatian authorities do not make decisions based on verbal explanations or family histories. They review documents, birth certificates, marriage certificates, name change certificates, archival records, proof of ancestors' citizenship, proof of residence, criminal background checks, translations, apostilles, and other materials. A common mistake many applicants make is viewing the dossier as a mere collection of papers. In reality, the dossier is a logically structured chain of evidence. Each document must confirm a specific fact: who you are, where you come from, why you are eligible to apply, and whether there are any inconsistencies in names, dates, places of birth, or family relationships. If the chain is broken, the reviewing authority will have questions, and questions mean additional requests, delays, and the risk of a negative decision. The first and very common mistake is to start collecting documents without a clear understanding of the basis for the application. A person hears, "I have Croatian roots," and immediately starts looking for legal grounds, getting documents translated, and requesting certificates. But without a legal assessment of the grounds, you can waste time and money on documents that won't help. If the basis is chosen incorrectly, the dossier may look voluminous but weak. It will contain many papers but lack the key evidence. The correct approach is to first determine the basis, then compile a personalized list of documents, and only then begin collecting them, not the other way around. One of the most serious mistakes when applying based on ancestry is an incomplete family tree. Let's consider the following scenario. An applicant wants to prove a connection to a Croatian ancestor. They find a birth certificate for their grandfather or great-grandmother that lists a place of birth within Croatia. It seems that this is enough, but in practice, you need to show the entire line from the ancestor to the applicant. That is, the documents must link every generation: the ancestor, their child, the next family member, the applicant. If a birth certificate, marriage certificate, or name change record is missing somewhere, the family connection becomes incomplete. Problems arise particularly often for women in the lineage if surnames changed after marriage. For example, in one document, the grandmother is listed under her birth surname, in another under her husband's surname, and there is no marriage certificate. For the family, everything is clear, but for the authority reviewing the application, these are different pieces of information that need to be verified. Another common mistake is ignoring discrepancies in documents. In old archives, certificates, and records, it is common to find different spellings of first or last names. This may be due to translation, transliteration, changes in the language of the document, historical circumstances, or simply a mistake made by the person who recorded the information. For example, in one document, the last name is spelled with one letter, while in another, it's spelled slightly differently. The date of birth may differ by a single day. The place of birth may be listed using the old name of the town. Sometimes an ancestor's first name has been adapted to another language. If discrepancies aren't explained in advance, the authority may request additional documents. In some cases, an archival certificate, a name change document, a court decision, or an official explanation will be required. Another common mistake is the incorrect preparation of foreign documents. In many cases, documents issued outside of Croatia must be legalized or certified with an apostille, if applicable to the specific country and type of document. Additionally, it is important to consider the requirements regarding originals, copies, validity periods, and the format of certificates. You need to be especially careful with criminal records, civil status certificates, and archival documents. If a document is outdated, not issued on the correct form, or lacks the required certification, it may not be accepted. Before submitting, it is important to check each document: who issued it, when it was issued, whether an apostille is required, whether the original is required, whether a notarized copy is required, and whether the format is acceptable to Croatian authorities. Mistake number 5, low-quality translation. Translation is not a technical detail, but rather part of the evidence base. A common mistake made by applicants is to have documents translated by a random translator or to use a translation that does not meet the requirements. In procedures involving Croatia, an official translation into Croatian, properly executed, is often required. A low-quality translation can create new problems. For example, the translator may have misspelled a surname, changed the name of a locality, incorrectly translated the title of an authority, or omitted a stamp or note on the document. As a result, a contradiction appears in the file that was not present in the original. Automatic translations and translations for general understanding are particularly risky. They may be suitable for personal review, but not for official submission. Before including a translation in the file, you need to check not only the language, but also its accuracy compared to the original, whether all pages have been translated, and whether seals, signatures, stamps, record numbers, dates, and notes have been included. Mistake number 6, insufficient archival evidence. If your application relates to your Croatian ancestry or ethnicity, archival documents can be very important. But there's a common mistake here. Applicants find a single document and assume that's enough. For example, an ancestor's birth record, an old certificate, an extract from a church register, or a family document. However, a single document may not be sufficient if it doesn't confirm the specific legal fact you need. Archival research must be targeted. You need to understand exactly what you are looking for: place of birth, nationality, citizenship, family ties, residence, a change of surname, membership in a specific community, or some other fact. Sometimes an archival document requires additional clarification: the old name of a place of residence, a change in administrative jurisdiction, peculiarities in the spelling of a name, or historical context. Without this, the document may appear unclear or insufficiently convincing. Mistake number 7, submitting documents without a clear structure. Even if all the documents have been collected, the dossier may be weak if it lacks organization. Imagine a folder containing certificates, statements, translations, passport copies, and archival records, but with no structure. The person reviewing the dossier has to figure out for themselves which document supports what. This increases the risk of questions and misunderstandings. A well-prepared dossier follows a logical order. First, the applicant's documents, then the supporting documents, followed by the family tree, then the supporting certificates, and finally the translations and certifications. In some cases, it is helpful to prepare a cover letter briefly explaining the basis for the application and which documents support it. Mistake number 8, hiding problem areas. Some applicants are afraid to reveal weaknesses in their case: discrepancies in documents, missing certificates, inaccurate dates, or incomplete archival records. They hope that these issues won't be noticed. But in immigration proceedings, such tactics almost always work against the applicant. If an authority discovers a problem, confidence in the dossier is reduced. It is better to identify controversial points in advance and prepare an explanation or additional documents. For example, if a marriage certificate is missing, you can check archives, civil registry offices, church records, or other sources. If there are different spellings of the surname in the documents, you can prepare confirmation that they refer to the same person. If a certificate cannot be obtained, you need to determine whether the reason can be explained in writing and what alternative evidence is acceptable. Another mistake is to copy another applicant's approach. Some people obtained citizenship through a consulate. Others applied in Croatia. For some, a single set of documents was accepted. For others, additional documentation was requested. One applicant had a direct line of ancestry, while another had a more complex family history. Someone else's experience can be useful as an example, but it shouldn't become a set of instructions. In Croatian citizenship, the details matter: an ancestor's place of birth, dates, parents' citizenship, family ties, the country where documents were issued, any name changes, the basis for the application, the applicant's current status, and even where exactly the application is submitted. The final mistake is to submit documents immediately after compiling them without a final review. Before submission, you need to review the dossier as a whole. Are all documents present? Are there any discrepancies? Do all translations match the originals? Have the certificates expired? Has each generation been verified? Is the basis clear? Are there any documents that might raise questions? Have explanations been prepared? A final review often reveals issues that are impossible to spot during the collection process. Before submitting your application for Croatian citizenship, ask yourself a few questions. First, do you fully understand the basis on which you are applying? Second, do you have documents that support this basis? Third, if your application is based on ancestry, can you provide documentation proving your entire family lineage? Fourth, are all changes to surnames, first names, and marital status verified? Fifth, are foreign documents properly certified? Sixth, are the translations accurate and consistent with the originals? Seventh, are there any unexplained discrepancies in the file? Eighth, are the documents organized logically so that the reviewer can quickly understand your story? If you answer not sure to even one of these questions, you should review the file before submitting it. The process of obtaining Croatian citizenship depends not only on the legal grounds, but also on the quality of your preparation. Even a strong case can be undermined by improper documentation, while a complex situation can be significantly improved by preparing a solid legal ground in advance. If you want to determine whether you have legal grounds for obtaining Croatian citizenship and how well prepared your application is, submit a request for a free consultation following the link in the description. We will assess your situation, review your existing documents, identify potential legal grounds for your application, and advise you on what steps to take next. Properly prepared documents and the right approach can significantly increase your chances of a successful result. Take the first step toward new opportunities today, and we will help you go through this process professionally, calmly, and confidently.